Welcome to the official broadcast of Life Fellowship Ministries in Kima, Texas. Our mission is to develop, maintain, and model personal intimacy with Jesus Christ. Be sure to visit us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And now, join us for the Life Fellowship experience.
We have some volume on that?
Don't worry, you'll get to see it again. You'll get to see it again. There we go.
Louis Perrin, trapeze artist. Come on down.
Next we have Yaman Sills. Yaman, can you tell us what impacted you?
Y'all can hear me? Okay. I think the biggest thing that impacted me, what I got from the conference was, I was expecting going to the conference to get recharged up, to get confidence, because this last year and the beginning of this year has kind of been a little hard. The day-to-day life, going to school, going to work, and I was drained, so I was trying to go to the conference to get recharged up. And that's exactly what I did. The theme of the conference was to rise up.
Yeah. And
that's exactly what I got. I feel like I rose up. And the biggest thing I got from the speakers, they all basically was talking about just rising up, being the man that God wants you to be, and how important it is for prayer, how important it is to stay connected to God and stay in alignment, and also just to stay in your lane. And because too many times as men, we may compare ourselves to other people, and that's what we want to be at. And the world will say, yeah, that's okay. But you got to know that the Lord has a plan for you. Just you, your plan. You can't be like everybody else. You got to be who you are made to be. So that's one of the biggest things I got out of it. I got to be Yaman Sills, who God called Yaman Sills to be. And I got to enjoy the process where he got me at right now. And I got to look into, I got to appreciate that. So I think overall that's what I got, and I got the confidence that I was looking for. I'm happy, and I'm going to enjoy the process that the Lord has me on. And another thing I enjoyed was just the praise and worship. It was, man.
Was it dope?
Yeah, it was dope. It was good. It was so impactful, man. Just to see all the men in there with their sons. I saw many fathers in there worshiping with their sons. Kids just really into it. And one of the things the Lord shared with me about our church is we should always be on fire for God at all times. It don't matter if you feel upset and mad. You got to control your thoughts. And we have power to control the way we think. So I would like to encourage y'all the same way I was encouraged. Think about good things at all times. So
I was back to the worship. I was really enjoying the worship. It was powerful. One of the things that I noticed was the difference in expressions of worship. I mean, this one Hispanic guy, he was kind of doing this thing here. And you got the brothers, I mean, they're just cool. I wouldn't even try to, they're just cool in their worship. And you got the white guy, he's all offbeat, kind of doing the thing. And I mean, it was hilarious to me. And I don't mean this disrespectful, but it was just seeing the different expressions of worship. God and the angels must be having a good time. But the worship was really, really good, really impacting, and I think you touched on something that's really important that I think we need to needed to take away from the conference as well that we need to hear today is that we need to stop comparing ourselves. We need to stop comparing ourselves, and we need to stay in our lane. What does God call me to do? It doesn't matter what God has called somebody else to do. You know, they have their own race to run.
Yeah.
But don't stop running the race like Lewis was talking about. Don't stop. Don't stop believing. You know, can we play that song? But don't stop. Keep pressing on. You know, Paul said, I forget those things that are behind me, and I press on toward the mark or the goal or the prize. Here's a man that was beaten, thrown in prison, and still was running his race, even from prison, even in chains. He was still running the race that God had called him to. So if you've got some challenges, and I know some of us do, keep running the race. Don't give up. Don't stop. All right. Well, Chris, you want to tell us what impacted you from this conference?
I was thinking back, you know, so much impacted me. Like, Lord still downloading things, you know,
Yeah.
bringing it back to me. So, but you did, man. I mean, that was the greatest impact was you. Like, how much you care about your people. And I just saw that, you know. So
Well, thanks.
that was the greatest thing, you know.
Really?
And then, yeah, I mean, on a level, everyday level, you're a good pastor. You're an awesome pastor.
Well, I didn't see that one coming.
I didn't either.
What do you want, a 20 or what? Well, thank you. Thank you.
But like something else that the Lord spoke to me was, and the speak through the speaker, but I guess it was McManus, the last guy.
Yeah.
Basically, the Lord will put you in a situation, or lead you in a situation, not necessarily for you.
Yeah.
Might be for somebody else's benefit, like the trapeze.
Thank you for that, Lewis. Yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah, you know, it's not all about you. It's not all about our selfishness, you know. You might go through some pain. You might go through something, and somebody else might be watching how you handle it. And
Yeah.
so that was powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And that's something that we really don't want to hear, right? We don't want to go through something, especially if it's for somebody else. Let them go through it. Man, I mean, come on. What was there anything else that...
It was a lot. I mean, just go if you can. I mean, because like Lewis said, just make it a priority to go. Because the enemy tries to put everything in front of you to you know, talk you out of it. But
And you were really like signed up and ready to go a year ago, right? Not. You want to speak to that?
Yeah. And it's hard for me to get up here and talk because I'm nervous anyway. Like,
Well, you're doing good. If you put on a blue jean jacket, then you'd be legit. You know, that's all I'm saying. But no, you want to speak to that a little bit?
the blue jean jacket.
No. No, about your hesitancy to go and.
Yeah. You know, that just goes to like show you how good a pastor you are, and then Pastor Jason talking about, you know. They just put, you know, y'all guys push and not push, but you look after, you know.
You're going, man.
Y'all kind of, y'all, you know, we encourage each other.
Yeah.
So to do that stuff, and that really helped me. So.
Well, and I think that's important that we encourage the other men. You know, we just talked about how important it is to encourage one another and to live this life that will inspire. And the Word talks about all of us that we need to encourage one another to acts of love and good works. So, anything else you want to share?
No, I'm good.
You want to do a backflip on the way out? No. Okay. Thanks, Chris. Thanks. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. These guys are making all these signs, the gang, you know, and I'm like, what? I don't know. Okay, so we've got the video. Sorry. Here's the trapeze master.
Chris can answer.
I was not okay.
You double that. You double.
clinking.
Chris Connector, double backflip. The 10.0.
Yeah. You shouldn't open your mouth sometimes. I said, Lewis, if you'll do it, I'll do it. And then all of a sudden, I see Lewis going up. Like, now I have to do it.
Well, you're a man of integrity. You did
We'll
what you
call it
said you
that.
were doing.
We'll
Yeah. Great. Thanks, Chris. Thank you so much. This is, how many times have you been? Do you know?
3 or 4.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know. They kind of all blend together. Yeah. So you want to share a little bit about what impacted you most?
Well, one of the things is when you go with your brothers in the van, first, I always kind of have to overcome the, I get in this rut and I don't really want to go. Mm-hmm. You know, you get comfortable in your ways. And then, but once you get in there and people start sharing, one thing I've found is when somebody shares a testimony, it is so life-changing. So when you go through the conferences and you go through the speakers and stuff comes out, you know. And one thing I notice is it takes a while as a Christian to let it all go. You know, you give your life to Christ and you're like, it's hard to give up everything. So when you get it with other testimonies, it brings up other thoughts and things that are in your life, and through prayer and sharing your testimony with others, you can turn it loose. And it's not always easy to speak out to your brothers and sisters and let it out. But when you've got a safe environment, and when we share in our men's group, it's so powerful when other people open their mouth and just share their pain that they're going through or stuff that they have been through. And I know with health, financial, whatever it is, it's cleansing. You know, let the blood cleanse you out. And I get nervous up here.
It's okay. You're doing it.
But I really appreciate my brothers and sisters. I know the love that I've experienced at this church, and when I get with them, when we do our men's group, the fact that we can share, and I just love them all. Love you all.
Great. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Well, one thing I got was, you know, when you're going through a big problem, it's so easy to just try to avoid that problem, turn and run the other way. But like was mentioned before, the reward is on the other side. You got to fight through it. All you got to do is ask God, pray, ask Him to get you through it. Don't stop. Keep going. Because once you get to the other side, you got freedom. And the problem is like, okay, so how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Okay? Say, you know, you need help with that. Well, you got brothers and sisters to that. You know, knife, fork, whatever, one bite at a time. So.
And Cliff and Steve are helping, Steve Malloy are helping to lead the men's group, and it's really a great, we meet monthly and we share. And you may think, well, I don't really have anything to share, or if I say that, that's stupid, man. Nobody's going to want to hear about that, or nobody else. This isn't relevant. And the thing that you may think is stupid and irrelevant and doesn't matter may be the very thing that needed to be said to open up the door to begin the conversation, or may make somebody else say, well, if they can say something that's stupid, I guess mine isn't so stupid, you know. But we have a lot of fun, but we're real. And this is part of the life change and the life-giving dynamic that happens as we come together. We're called the body of Christ, and we were never designed to be lone rangers. Right. We were always designed to be connected to the body. And we have a great group of men, the men's group. You guys are doing a great job with that. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Yes.
Okay.
One of the speakers that I went to, the breakout, was Tom Lane, and talking about legacy, leaving a legacy for your family. And so it's not just financial legacy, like with Will and your all the stuff you have, but it's also a spiritual legacy. So as we live out each and every day, and we live out the truth that we've learned from the Bible, it's going to trickle down generation to generation. So if you don't let go of your yuck stuff, guess what? Carries on. So what we have to realize, okay, say you get physically malnourished, okay, what do? You have to eat a meal. But one meal is not enough. You have to continue to eat and nourish your body. We have to do the same thing spiritually. And we do that with the Word. Open the Bible. So it's not just a one-time thing on Sunday. We got to start with our quiet time every day. Pray. Praise and worship.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Well, Cliff, thank you so much.
If we could play this trapeze video, no?
We don't have one of you.
Yeah, it's because I didn't get up there. You know, I've never been more thankful to see a weight limit on anything in my life. I pulled up there, and so they were like, "Come on, Jason." I looked at the weight limit. I'm like, "Oh, guys, man, I'd love to."
I would do it.
You have no idea how much I'd love to get up on this trapeze, but rules are rules, and we're gonna follow rules, and you know, you guys are gonna do great. You guys are gonna do great. No, this one was also the most impactful one. I've only missed one since we've started going, and this was by far the most impactful. And I kind of jotted down some notes because I didn't want to go off too much on a tangent like I just did. God did not call me to be important. He didn't call any of us to be important. God called us to be faithful. And you know, that was so impactful to me, because we as men especially, we strive so hard to be important, be it to our family, be it to our friends, be it to our job. God didn't call us to be important. God called us to be faithful. We're not going to get to heaven and he's going to say, "Well done, good and very important person." Okay? He's going to say, "Well done, good and faithful servant."
Good.
If anything but Christ is determining your worth, you are running a race you will never win.
Say that again.
If anything but Christ is determining your worth, you are running a race you will never win. There was a race. They did talk about races a lot of the race. You know, stay in your lane and run your race. Don't look back. You know, run. But if anything but Christ is determining your worth, you're running a race you're never going to win. And the wonderful part about that is you don't have to prove yourself, because your worth was determined on the cross.
Amen.
So you hold tight to that, because Jesus, God, he died for you. You can't tell me you're not worthy. You can't tell me I'm not worthy. And the other thing, we talked a lot about dry bones being raised up. And God raising an army, and Todd McIntyre, wasn't even during his speaking, it was just one of those in between him. He was talking, and he said, God is not raising up an army to watch TV. Men, God isn't raising up an army to go home and watch TV. God is raising up an army to fight and to battle. You know, and the other one is, we're really good at waiting for God to tell us to start, but we never seem to wait for him to tell us to quit. I want you to let that sink in for a second. We sit and wait for God to say, "Go, do this, do this." Well, God, am I supposed to be doing this? Go do this. Wait, but God, now? Do this. And we wait and we wait and we wait. But when we start on our path, we don't wait for him to say stop. We just quit. And we can't do that. We have to finish strong. And I want you all to know something. And this isn't about the speaking. This is kind of talks a little bit about what Cliff was talking about. These men battled for you this weekend. I want you to know that. I want you to know that they stormed the heavens for each and every one of you here. There was not a person that's sitting in this room right now that didn't cross somebody's mind as we were battling for you. And I was so honored to lock arms with these men. And I'm so honored to lock arms with the men in this room. God desires for men to rise up. And this was so impactful in a manner that gave us practical ideas of how to do that, as well as strengthening us to do it. And I'm hoping and I'm praying and I'm knowing that God is going to allow everything that's filled us, that's overflowing out of all of us. You see it up here on our faces. You see it in our attitude. You see it in the way we're speaking, that it's going to overflow on each and every one of you. I want y'all to feel it. I want y'all to receive it. I want you to enjoy it, because I'm telling you, my prayer more than anything is that this flame isn't extinguished.
Amen. Great.
Right,
Drop the mic. I love you too. Thanks, son.
Yes, sir.
Tony Clarkey. I think one of the things that impacted me tremendously was seeing these men go down to the altar and just yielding, unashamedly yielding. And I don't know what was going on in their individual lives, but I know that they were yielding. There were things that were happening in their lives that their wife couldn't do, their job couldn't fulfill, that they couldn't do for themselves. But God was doing something in their hearts and lives. Tony, what impacted you?
Well, first of all, I can smile about this now, so so just hear me out. So Pastor said keep it short, so I brought a short notebook that's got a lot of pages. Okay.
Thank you for that.
Okay, I'm laughing, but this is coming from a place of hurt. So just give you a little bit of background. Sort of over 12 months ago, sat with Debbie at the doctor's, and she gets told, "Hey, I got cancer. It's cancer." And at that moment in time, she's got it, not me, and I just felt hatred. I was mad. I was angry as hell, and I was really just that was it, right? So then, during this journey of her having to go through it, I was at a church where all of a sudden I felt abandoned. The people I felt closest to, my brothers and my sisters, other than two to three very, very close families and friends, we were almost abandoned by, this is how I felt, right? Abandoned by my pastor, abandoned by my church, even down to a level where, I struggle to even say this because he might see this online. But when your pastor says, maybe you haven't prayed enough, right? So anyway, story short, that's where I was coming from. But the thing is, Debbie, before I went to this conference, Debbie had already gone through this. She's already come out of it. She's already forgiven. She's already moved on. But I had all of this still inside. I had this hurt. I just had all of this. So anyway, God deals with me in a really, really strange way. And we have a sort of funny relationship where he just slaps me around the face every now and again. And I have these like aha moments. Well, so if you understand where I'm coming from, and you need to know I'm a Texans fan. So you'll get to know that in a minute. So on Thursday we got all of this about, you need to run to please Jesus and not to please people. You're not important, but you got to be free. You got to be free of stuff. So I'm hearing, I'm like, okay, really, Oh, and by the way, so I missed a bit. When we came down here to Kemah from Katie, he brought us here through what Debbie had seen and put us on the street next door, right, one street over. And so he led us here. And Debbie said, "Oh, we're going to go to this church. How about it?" I'm like, "No, I'll take a season off. I don't need to come. I don't. I'm just going to I'll just take a break. I'm fine. But you can go." So yeah, and then I got another slap. And then on the Friday morning, so that was Thursday night. And then on the Friday morning, we get this, you got to be ready to meet me. You got to get aligned. And then he's waiting for me to move on, is what I get told. He's waiting for me to move on. And I'm thinking, okay, you again, Lord, thank you. Bam, another one. And Debbie had already moved on, and I've still got it. And then in the afternoon on the Friday, I get, "Hey, give it to me." All this message all the way through, it's just, give it to me, change your heart, give it to me. And then this is where he really, he really slapped me again. So think about this. He takes a Texans fan to Dallas, of all places, right? And everyone's saying, look at this great stadium, blah, 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 and all this stuff, right? And then on Thursday afternoon, he introduces me to a kid who I'd never really thought about before, a kid called Clint Gresham. Yeah? And if you all don't know him, he was the guy who snaps the ball back for the Seahawks, of all things. And he stood there with his, his Seahawk ring on.
Super Bowl ring and all of this. And he said, so, what are you doing with your pain? And I'm like, oh, man, okay. I hear you again, Lord. Told you it'd be short because there's only 2 pages. Oh, yeah. I see
okay, that. And then on the last day, that evening, the last speaker to come on was a gentleman called Erwin McManus. And I forget the name of his book. What was that book? The Last Final Arrow? The Last Arrow. Yeah. And he starts off by saying, hey, I had cancer, and I told him I'm going to die. But what really, it wasn't that he had cancer. What God showed me was the journey his wife went through, supporting him through cancer, and how she, was affected, and what came out. And then he just ended it all by this freedom on the other side of pain. So, like I said at the beginning, I was able to tell you this with joy, whereas I would never, ever shared that story with anybody before going to this conference, because I had so much hurt, I had so much pain, I had so much anger, and I couldn't let go of any of it. And my wife, even down to when Pastor said, well, there's this conference, and I initially signed up, and then I made a point of coming to see him and said, take me off that list, I'm not going. I mean, I don't want to go.
He was pretty adamant. I don't know if Englishmen are typically adamant, but he was pretty. Yeah,
we're pretty stubborn. That
little English bulldog here,
But you know what? Pastor being such a good pastor, he made me go. But I was released from that pain, and so that was it. That's what I got out of it. Thank you.
Good. You're welcome. Is there anything else you want to share?
Oh man, you said keep it short.
Yeah, okay.
I could go on forever and ever, but there were so many things. But for me, it wasn't. God didn't deal with me with just one message from this conference. He had several people feed me my message I needed to hear, and I think that's important. I didn't quite understand that. I was expecting this, because even Jason said he'd received a word for me, but it'd become apparent to me. And I'm like, I don't get that, Jason, but I'll trust in you. and that's what I was thinking, right? But then that's when I came to realize that God does so many things, but he does it little bit at a time, little bit at a time. He's not just going to give you it all at once. It is a journey, it is a race, and you're just going to accept it, get on with it, and put your faith in him, and all's good. So I got a lot out of it. So you're all going to be going next year, even the new guys, See you next year.
Yeah.
See you next year.
Yeah. I want to encourage you to be plugged in, not only on Sunday mornings, not only on Wednesday nights, but for the men's group, for the women's group, because your life matters, and this relationship, certainly with the Lord, is critical. That's primary. But don't minimize or negate the importance of the secondary relationship with other people, with your family. And God is doing something in our midst, and I believe God wants to do more, and it's going to take all of us working together, being together, linking arms together, and moving forward and building the kingdom of God, because their lives are hanging in the balance. And I want to say thanks to all the men. Thank you guys for sharing today.
Thank you for tuning into our broadcast. For more information, be sure to find us at our website at www.lifefellowship.me or call us at 832 864-2800. Have a great week, and remember to live it. God bless.